to Squad, your favorite source for everything esports and gaming. It's your girl Lisa here, letting you know what's going down tonight. Name a more iconic duo than Brody and Marissa. They're back at it again in Unmuted, and now it's the time to place your bets who will mute first. And then later on in Esports 30, we're talking Rocket League with the manager of Team Vitality, Gregan. But before we get into that, it's time for Rank It. This time we're looking at the weirdest video game characters.
Turns out the Legend of Zelda franchise is home to some strange-ass creatures. On that list is a minor character known as Uku, a bird-like figure with a human head. For some reason, Uku and her son, Uku Jr., hang out in pots within dungeons. Upon being found by Link, they become allies and allow you to warp back to the entrance of the dungeon. How these anthropomorphic birds have gained these powers, we'll never know.
Our top story this evening concerns a legendary creature that some say could overturn Darwin's theory of evolution.
Although this ad is a farce, it ultimately sets the tone for an insanely bizarre game known as Seaman. After you care for eggs chilling in a fish tank, the fish-like humanoid known as Seaman emerges. Despite being rather new to the world, he picks up on English rather quickly. He makes requests on tank conditions and occasionally strikes up a conversation.
So tell me, do you own a computer?
When you've done enough to help Seaman grow into a strong frog, he returns to where he truly belongs.
If you ever want to talk to me, just call me, okay?
Yeah, we don't know what this means either, but it just added to the oddity that is Tingle. The man who's apparently 35 years old floats in the sky attached to his balloon, drawing and selling maps for his dad. While that seems like a wholesome venture, his outfit and look is rather obscure. His green tights, incredible red nose, and creepy goatee overshadow the fact that he's obsessed with forest fairies. And why is the pocket watch around his neck stuck at 4 o'clock? There's no character more bizarre in the Soul Calibur series than Voldo. Rather than speak, he just moans and hisses. Rather than walk upright, he rolls and wobbles around with a lot of pelvic movement. According to his backstory, Voldo was the first in command to Italian weapons merchant Verchi. Verchi built a vault to protect his weapons and ordered Voldo to kill anyone who knew of its location. After completing his task, Voldo was then trapped underground and clearly he went insane. Conker's Bad Fur Day was bizarre for several reasons, but none more memorable than one of the bosses.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
The singing turd with sweet corn teeth is quite the roadblock for Conker, as he needs to constantly dodge the fecal matter being tossed in his direction. Eventually, after hurtling toilet paper into the great mighty Pooh's mouth, the massive shit releases a high-pitched shriek, allowing Conker to flush him for good. The most fashionable man in the galaxy takes top spot on the list. The king of all cosmos makes his appearance in the unusual Katamari Damacy franchise, where the goal is to roll over things. Although the game is simple, the king of all cosmos is so much more. You couldn't tell it from his kick-ass wardrobe and lovable personality, but his journey to the top wasn't easy. His father was strict and had lofty expectations for his son. The other kids made fun of him and cut off his pompadour. But in time, he found love and inherited the throne. He now reigns as ruler of the universe in his purple tights.
Welcome to Unmuted. We got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and
the spiciest memes. I'm Marissa Roberto.
And I'm Brody Moore, and this is how the show's going to work. Producer Tyler's got 2 minutes on the board for each topic, and we will present and possibly, likely, argue. Luckily for all of us, there's a mute button only to be used when one of us get out of line.
Yes. Shout out to chat. We like it when you call us out when we're wrong and praise us when we're spitting truth. Let's get to it. We're going to kickstart our debates with a very juicy report from League. According to a report from ESPN, the Philadelphia 76ers have agreed in principle to purchase Clutch Gaming for $20 million US. The 76ers own Dignitas, and the report also states that Clutch will rebrand to Dignitas later in the year. Since joining the franchise LCS, Clutch has been underwhelming to say the least, and recently finished the spring playoffs in 9th place. So, Brody Moore, are you excited to see Dignitas back in League?
I mean, if they're buying Clutch, you may as well just give me $20 million. Oh. Yeah, no, I mean, it's good. I mean, I guess if they can. The biggest thing, I think we sort of touched on this before, the biggest thing about having a franchise thing is that you can sell to the audience whether you're winning or not. You can get fans on, you can create a dynamic that people care about your brand. And right now, switching over to Dignitas has been doing a lot of work to get people seeing like, oh, this is a prestige esports org again, you know, with the whole rebrand and everything that they did recently. So I think this is an absolutely great move for them to sell. I mean, also, like, you're selling for $20 million, right? So it's like, whoever got that money is like,
oh, yeah, that was
brother.
Easy. First of all, we got to throw it out to chat. Can you press F, please, for Brody's lame joke off the top of this? He needs it, trust me. We also need to talk about the fact that Dignitas is, it doesn't make any sense, like, for this team to not be playing so well, like, to actually be kind of abysmal, and then all of a sudden be purchased for that much money. Like, yo, that's a nice chunk of change. I would take it easy, especially if I were in 9th place. Like, yeah, okay, give me all the money. See you again, never. Never see you again.
Yeah, no, again, it's a testament to how much they believe that, I mean, it's a good sign also for League that people are willing to take a team that's not doing well and say, yeah, we still think there's value to this. So no, I think it's very doable. But if someone else were to buy it, you know, if it was like some, I guess, lower end org, it's like, yeah, $20 million we got laying around, let's buy it.
Like BYU or something?
Yeah.
Oh, press F for BYU. Red Reserve. Oh, press F. Okay.
All right.
Yo.
Shots.
Sold.
So yeah, it wouldn't have worked for any of those, right? Because they don't have that level of prestige. And Dignitas is a team to do that. So yeah, no, I think this is absolutely a great move.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Brody. I love your insight. How about
You're welcome. Let's do that. Moving on. Here's a really weird story about Twitch that will make you angry. A Twitch streamer named JordyX3 received a donation totaling over $5,000 6 months ago. And recently, it was charged back by PayPal. According to the user who donated the money, they filed a chargeback solely so that they could hurt JordyX and his viewers and the people around him. Yo. That is a bunch of bullish.
Well, obviously it's bad karma for that person, just straight up. Apparently, Jordy did make enough donations in that time to like recoup in some way, but he didn't know it was going to happen, obviously, until they took the money back or they reneged on the donation. I hate people like this. First of all, I used to have somebody that would pay money to downvote my YouTube videos. So like they wouldn't even have that many views, but I'd have hundreds of downvotes on these videos that I had on YouTube, and they were all coming from like Russia. Like they just paid for bots to downvote my videos. Like somebody actually paid real money to do this. Like the hate
she likes
that
to
people
think
have.
someone got paid to do that.
No,
they were just doing that.
Brody, how could you have that many downvotes, not that many watches? It doesn't make any sense.
You
I
underestimate how fast I can make alternate accounts.
Okay, Brody, no.
No, but really, at the end of the day, whose fault is this?
At the end of the day, mark down your bingo card.
Whose fault is this, though? I mean, obviously, it's the guy that charged back, but there should be stuff in place, though. I mean, like, PayPal doesn't care much. Does Twitch need to start their own service and say, hey, let's get everyone off PayPal? You know, from my understanding is like, if you take the money out, that should be the end of the story from PayPal. There should be no way that a chargeback can happen after that point.
Unless I guess streamers have to just be aware that things like this can happen. Maybe like don't put all their eggs in the basket of donations. Like wait for the 6 months to pass before they actually know that money is in the bank. It is. That's what it is. The 6 months. Yeah. So wait for the money to be in the bank legit, and then it's yours 100 before you start spending this stuff or making it a part of your everyday use. I hate that stuff. I feel like people that spend their time and their money on people just for hate, like that's messed up. That's some seriously bad karma. Like you must have a real garbage life to be that much of a garbage human, and your life will continue to be garbage because you're so garbage.
That's
Okay?
not
That's
always
how it
true.
works. That's how life
No,
works.
life's not fair.
No,
Sometimes
life
garbage
isn't
people
fair.
get success, and I
Brody.
can name a million examples right now.
Okay, fine, but karma still finds a way in the end. I promise you,
No.
karma always finds a way. It's
That's not
better,
real.
everyone, to be kind.
Bad people succeed sometimes. You're
Brody,
gonna have to get
shut
used
up.
to it.
What do you ruin every point that I made? God, you're so
It's
annoying.
my job.
Over to Dota. Shut up. Over to Dota. The game's first ever tournament in India is facing some major hurdles less than a week before it starts. On April 10th, 5 teams announced that they would be dropping out of ESL Mumbai in order to prepare for the Dota Pro Circuit events. As a result, ESL has had to significantly change the event's format, which will now feature only 8 teams, none of which are among the best in the game right now. Look, we both
Big
know
ouch.
that Dota players care mostly about Valve events, obviously, but do you not think that it's pretty disrespectful of these teams to just leave in such short notice? And maybe is there a way to prevent this?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really hard to put blame on teams for wanting to, practice and put their, time into something that means more to them, right? I mean, at the end of the day, these guys they have a job to do, right? Now, maybe it should be up to that event to make them contractually obliged that once you sign up, that you have to perform. Otherwise, there's a deregistration, I guess that's a word, fee. Like charge them for leaving the tournament. Yeah, don't. Some sort of fee, like that's the only way it's going to be around it, because it does suck. Because again, we've talked about this. Valve is pretty hands off when it comes to Dota, and Dota, these are the organizers putting their own money into it. If they're getting screwed over, you're not going to have these events anymore. But it's not the players' fault, technically, for doing this, because the players still have to look after themselves, and the teams have to look after themselves and make sure that they're putting.
I've decided that you talk too much sometimes. Like, you go on for a full minute without just even taking a breath. It's very irritating to me, especially when your points aren't even that great. Obviously, I feel like this whole situation is super rude, super disrespectful to the organizers. 100. They have sponsors that come on board. They have people giving donations. They have tickets that they're selling. They have things that they need to own up to and they need to provide when they start selling tickets to something like this. And for these teams to back out, that is incredibly rude. They're putting so much stress and strain on these TOs. It's not fair at all. It's not right. I do not agree with it. I understand that Valve obviously, like, people only really want to see the majors or whatever it is. It's still not fair to the Dota fans. It's not fair to these organizers, and it's really hard being a tournament organizer, okay? Like, people want more of these esports tournaments. They just start paying respect. These orgs have to start paying respect to the people that are trying to put them on, especially if they're trying to do something good for the community. I'm sorry, but like, people, like, it's not okay. This is happening even in Dota and anywhere. It's not okay.
Talking about not taking a breath. That was a
What?
Little, you just did the exact same thing.
No, you did
And
it
now
for
we're out
30
of time.
seconds.
So
That was
I'm
30
gonna-
seconds. You're going for a full freaking minute.
Stop.
Ugh,
Capping
so
off our
annoying.
stories is a new battle royale, only it's not a video game. Apparently, an anonymous millionaire is funding a real-life battle royale that will take place on a private island. Let me be clear, the participants will not have to kill each other.
Oh, darn.
Instead, they'll have to use airsoft guns and touch-sensitive body armor. Food and camping gear will also be provided, and the ultimate winner will earn 100,000 pounds. Marissa,
Ooh, pounds?
you
That's
par-
like
you partake
$100
in-
million
That's a lot of money for us.
Canadian.
Yeah, would you partake in this? You doing it?
Hell no, are you crazy?
What?
Okay.
What?
No, they lost me at like the camping part. I don't want to be
have
like
to go
out there in the
outside.
woods like scavenging. I don't want to do that. I mean, if I had to, in like a real life scenario, if the zombie apocalypse comes, this would be when I would have to do something like this.
But this is practice for that.
I guess so, yeah.
You
Maybe
need
it's
to
like
get
training.
Yeah. I mean, like, you don't get good at something without practice. You have to do it. So, like, if you just step out on every one of these, like, fake scenarios, when the actual apocalypse comes, you're screwed, and you're not on my team.
I don't want to be on your team, Brody.
Good.
I gotta say right now. Listen, I already
I'd
have a
actually
plan.
probably shoot you first.
No, you would not.
Just so you don't drag me down.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't run very fast, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe wouldn't be the best on these teams. I mean, it's fun because we always cook up these Hunger Games scenarios, especially if if you read the books and you watch the movies, and now that all this battle royale is happening, like what it would really be like. So I love that something like this is happening. I think it'll be interesting to watch. I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah.
If the production value is tight, it better be tight.
Now the question is, which battle royale are they doing? Like, are we parachuting in? Do we
They're
have like?
definitely not parachuting
do we
in.
get like hammers and wood to like build? Build some ramps?
No,
Ramp all,
because
ramp
you'll
all?
become over encumbered.
Huh? Oh yeah, you gotta live. Yeah.
You gotta bring your own frying pan, apparently.
Yeah, for you.
No, according to Tyler, I think he's just messing with me.
Yeah, probably messing with you. I'm wondering. Yeah, I don't know. I think they should implement some of the ones that are already out. Like have tools like you can actually go around and loot as well. If you can hide stuff, like, but yeah, almost like Survivor level, you know, like to
Honestly,
hide stuff.
No,
you get,
if
like,
it's the first time they're doing this, it's going to be
immunities.
basic as heck. Like, there's not going to be, they're wearing those suits to, like, if they get targeted and they get hit, that's it, it's over. Like, there's not going to be, it might actually not be that exciting, to be honest. The most exciting part will be if there's mics on all of them, and if we get to see them, like, around campfires, and, like, who's against who, and who's aligning with who. Yo, Survivor style.
Yo, I'm down. I'm signing it up. Anyways, we move on. Now it's time to see what the streamers are up to in Clip It. It's going to get emotional because our first clip is from Nice Wig, who was caught off guard when NRG Dizzy hosted him.
This is crazy. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. I need to relax. I really need to relax. I love y'all. Dizzy's a kind dude. Yeah, dude, kind is an understatement, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna do my best to. I mean, I played really well with him, man. He's a god. I tried keeping up. Dizzy's such a good guy, dude. Dizzy, I love you, man. Thank you for the gifted subs, and thank you so much, bro. That's all I want, man. That's all I really wanted to do is stream, dude. This is my. That's all I want to do is just talk to people and have fun, man. What's going on, bro? Thank you so much, Dizzy.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Do you have a little tear in your face?
Yeah, get a little misty.
Yeah, that's.
People are like super emotional like that, and it's real. Because.
Oh, you are.
Oh,
no,
that's I know.
Cute.
Like it really, this stuff really affects me. Only because like. God, they spend so much time, and you can tell that he just really genuinely, like, he doesn't even know how to react because it's just so kind. And this is the thing with the kindness of strangers, man. This is what I'm talking about with good karma. This is good karma in place right now. Like, the best things are going to happen to Dizzy. Maybe it's just an amazing day today, just because something so easy for him, something so small, can mean something so big for someone else.
I really think Marissa's got a tear in her eye because she was like, that was a really nice wig.
What?
And she wants it.
I didn't even think that, but it kind of was. But no, I wouldn't rock something like that. I still have to bust out my wigs here. Listen, no, why did you make it about that?
Well, it wasn't me.
You literally just said it right now. Was it Tyler here? Oh my, Tyler.
He runs this show. He runs this show.
Tampering. Tyler is tampering. Listen, let's lighten things up with Ludwig, who decided to let viewers choose his new room decor. This is what they got.
Love Slime poster that goes great with my shirt. Then we got the classic art poster, Cuckold. Really applicable to me because I'm, never mind. Choking first aid poster for kids, adults, infants, and pregnants. Wow, awesome. Seinfeld, George, the timeless art of seduction. Beautiful poster. Gotham, do not disturb, gamer at work. Great. Wash your hands, use soap, love mom.
I want all of those in there. Yo, he's been.
I'm down with the George Costanza poster. I would even take the Kramer one too.
You probably already have one, to be honest.
No, I don't. But to be honest, to be fair, no, I don't. But I wouldn't say no to it if somebody wanted to give that to me.
I just think there's a really interesting idea that's making me want to tune in his streams more. The fact that he's just letting his Twitch stream literally decide everything, like that, his clothing choices, his room decor now. Like, what's next? Like, let Twitch deal with your financials.
No, oh my God, no. Next, it's not gonna be financials. It's gonna be pick a girl, like pick a girlfriend. It's gonna be like The Bachelor.
I don't know if that's how it works, though.
Why?
It was just that one. I don't.
No.
They also have to agree. Or are we setting this up?
Yeah, there'll be girls that want to be chosen to go out with Ludwig.
The Bachelor with Ludwig.
Yeah, why not? Yo, I'd vote. I'd want to be a part of that for sure. Not be a part of the selection, but like be a part of. I used to rephrase. Okay, never mind. Let's take a ride on the Twitter train because it's time for Profound Thoughts, where we take the things that pros are taking and spitting out their mouths onto our timelines. The first post comes from Twitch streamer Kara Corvus, who, when Inku Kang asks, "What's a compliment you genuinely hate receiving?" she answers, "Finally, a female streamer who doesn't show off her tits on stream." Well, I would actually show off. I totally would if I had tits to show off. GTFO. But I think this is about time. It definitely calls for a chat to drop an exclamation point, Leafx, right now.
If you take off your shirt, you're saying objectify me. And it's, no, I mean, I get that though. It's just like, you don't want to be like, the only reason people are watching you is because you're not doing what all the other like titty streamers are doing. Like that's such a poor reason to watch someone. You want people to watch your content because you have good content, right? Not just because you're not doing the bad thing. I get why that's not really good.
The bad thing. Listen, first of all.
Hey, no, if you want to make money, go ahead and make money. Do what you want.
No, but listen, if a girl is comfortable, shut your mouth. If a girl is comfortable showing her cleavage, if she has some and she wants to do that and it makes her happy, just let her do it and leave her alone. My God, if you want to do tarps off every day on stream, I would applaud you, Brody, more, because I knew that that would make you happy. I would salt on you a little bit, but I know that we have a back and forth and there can be banter there and it's fun. I don't like when these people are insulting streamers, insulting girls and being, oh, thank God you're not one of those girls who takes her top off or shows cleavage. It's like, no, you know what? Even if I were, shut up.
No,
like,
there's
nothing to do with my stream.
You know what? There is a problem with that on Twitch because now people are expected that unless they do that, then people aren't going to watch them. There's a precedent set. Create a whole, there are other websites for that, for showing yourself up. Do that if you want. I'm okay with that. You do what you want with your body. But it's not fair to the people that are trying to make actual content on Twitch to have to deal with that as competition, because the precedent is set that if they don't do that, no one's going to watch them. Okay? We're going to move on because I'm right and you're still muted. Next up, Street Fighter legend Jae Wong had some advice for the young ones. I've been in the FGC for like 19 years now. It took me 10 years to get sponsored. Lamau. But people want stuff overnight these days. Just be patient. Your time will come if you work hard.
Unless you take your top off.
Unless you take... That is true.
No, I'm just reading your point. You're so dumb, by the way, for the point.
Really
I don't even know if I'm allowed to go back to it.
For real.
No, you are so dumb for real. Yes,
we're over that. We're on this.
I know. God, it's just so frustrating.
You got muted. That's how it works.
Because you're making a generalization about something. You're making a generalization of you're saying that every titty streamer.
We're not talking about that. Talk about Jae Wong.
Help me, Jesus.
Help yourself. Oh, you can't just move on.
No, you're fine. Jae Wong, yes. It's true. People need to appreciate things in life, and they need to understand the value of hard work, okay? Because obviously you and I have been doing this for a long time. We didn't just get these jobs overnight. We've been actually working and grinding very long and very hard. That's what she said. To make sure that we get to these points in our careers, right? So, I mean, yeah, just work for it, people. You don't just get things handed to you for free.
You know what? Good. I like it. That was enough.
I'm still so salty about the other one. Oh my God, you're so annoying.
Now
our last profound thought is a little Reddit share from one of our faves on Twitter. It's called Broclayster. So basically, I don't know if you can see that, Brody, but it's basically how people define themselves. Like, how do you see success, okay? And why do you want to be successful? So we would definitely want chat to chime in with which one relates to you. First girl's all about the money. Second guy is all about the passion for his craft. The third girl says she wants to be a better person. And the fourth guy says, pure spite. I live only to prove the haters wrong. I succeed to make them suffer.
that last one is so like, it's like, you don't have haters, but I'm going to make haters by being spiteful just so I can spite the haters.
You know, some people have haters
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay, listen.
I guess you create your own journey.
No, that's true, but I feel like for Brody Moore, he would choose number 2, right? You are all about perfecting your craft.
I'm all about passion.
And you're all about the passion.
Passion. And you're definitely number 4.
That's true.
Tater's going to tate.
Tater's going to tate.
All right.
I don't know. I think a mix. It's just like love languages. You know, you can't just have one. Like you got a little mix going on. I want to do like one because money. money. I would say 1, 3, and 4. It's like a mix of all those.
It's bipolar.
No, that's not what that means.
She doesn't know what she wants. All right, time to move on to the great things we find on the web in crowd control. Our first post comes from an extremely talented pianist I wanted everyone to check out. They go by Rousseau, and thankfully they have some video game covers so I can put it on the show. This is a cover of Dearly Beloved from Kingdom Hearts.
That's so beautiful.
That was great.
I love Rousseau so much.
And it's so satisfying to watch because it's like Guitar Hero for piano.
Yeah.
Like they should actually come out with that and like you might get people learning.
I love how when you introduced it, you didn't specify gender. Because nobody actually knows.
I actually don't know.
If it's
it might be out there, but I haven't done the research.
No,
so.
no, we tried. Remember, we tried to say,
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
I want to know
that's
what this
true.
person looks like, and we couldn't find. Because before you were showing me Tetris video of his too.
Yes.
Yes,
we
yes,
just have the image of the beautiful hands just working magic on the piano.
Beautiful hands.
Absolutely fantastic
There's
work.
something to be said about someone who can work magic on a piano, though, you feel? Ever take on a task that's too big because you were a little overconfident? Well, so did Yo Sambro, although his task is a giant? What? With a big hammer?
Yeah, it's a big hammer. Look at this.
God.
You know those days you just wake up and you think you can take on the world?
Uh-oh.
Here's the world.
Hold on!
Bye!
No!
That's actually the quickest way to get up to the Greybeards on the map. To skip the Yeti? Yo, screw the Yeti, by the way.
I really hate that. Yeah, that has happened to me, obviously, several times.
Just bypass it by dying and having your body tossed up into the world.
It's just not fair, because like, you're just not prepared for it. Like, you're just out there living your life, and all of a sudden, well, boom. That's not fair.
Well, boom. Like when you go to Starbucks and they get your order wrong, the rest of your day's not good.
Okay, what? Don't do that. No,
What?
no. Now you're like painting me into like some kind of corner as like, oh, she's a Starbucks girl.
Oh, is there something wrong with Starbucks? I didn't say anything like that.
You always crap on it. Are you serious?
Did I crap on it once, chat?
He's just whatever.
She
I know what he's
just
doing.
did
He's
this
trying
to
to
herself.
patronize me right now. Okay, anyway,
All right, we're gonna move on. In honor of the first ever picture of a black hole, user FICO Ninja 123 reminded us all of the OG black hole. With some great editing, may I say, right? Yo, real talk though, real talk. No one can beat Kirby. Like, what entity character from any show ever do you think could beat Kirby?
Could beat Kirby?
Kirby has an infinite black hole inside of him.
Oh yeah.
What could beat Kirby? Chat, like, I don't think anybody can beat Kirby.
Yeah, we'll take your suggestions in chat for sure. I'm not sure. I've never had that thought, Brody. I don't know, but I mean, I guess any Smash player will kind of counter that with whatever Smash
Well, I'm thinking
player
from
they
anything
use.
too. Even like I think the Flash can like go back in time and like time travel literally. But even once you come up against Kirby, Kirby's just gonna go.
And then suck it back, yeah.
Yeah, and then now you're dead.
Okay.
Kirby's OP. The ultimate character out of everything in the world is Kirby.
No, then maybe it should just be, oh yeah,
Well done,
defeating
Sakurai.
Superman. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we gotta go now.
Okay.
I hope
Bye.
you were just like also streaming like Leafs game and unmuted at the same time. Yo, go Leafs, go baby, let's try to get this. I'm scared. Let's all over unmuted. If you have anything you want us to talk about, we'll hit us up on our Discord or our socials. Use exclamation point right now, Squad State, to find out what those are, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Tyler is used to the old game.
Yeah, kinda. I pushed B.
This is his generation.
You got it.
You're done. You're actually finished.
You guys eat
No, I gotta
donuts?
be careful here. I can't do it there.
Yeah, you can't do it there.
You're done.
There we go. Boom. Boom. Oh, I pushed the wrong button.
Cocky. Yo, you got cocky.
Yo, that's a flip.
Whoa,
Yo.
that was, look at DC
Yo.
has one-handed. He's
That's
like,
a
bro.
Yo, you know what I pushed? I pushed triangle and try and blow it up.
Hey guys, don't get cocky.
You played yourself.
You played yourself.
It is Thursday, so we had to play some games on the PlayStation Classic, but now they're so tiny, they're so cute. Remember, you can always let us know what you want us to play on our socials at Squad State. Now, just in a little bit, Brody and Nick will be breaking down the first week of the RLCS Season 7, but before we get into all of that, let me hit you with the news. Rocket League developer Psyonix announced that the game's esports shop will launch on April 16th. The store will allow players to buy in-game items based around esports teams playing in the RLCS. So far, 11 teams have been included in the pilot program, all of which play in North America or Europe. Each team will have 2 decal items for sale, 1 player banner per team, and a variety of different esports-themed wheels. However, you can't buy these items with standard currency. Instead, you have to purchase a new currency called esports tokens that can only be spent in the esports shop. It's a really weird approach to take, but since we don't know the prices, we'll find out if this is worth it when the store launches next week. The real world is becoming more and more like Black Mirror every day. A new report from the Washington Post revealed that Activision Blizzard pays its employees for their pregnancy data. Seriously, this isn't a hoax. According to the story, Activision Blizzard pays employees $1 a day in gift cards to use Ovia Health, a health app that tracks a user's health data, which includes pregnancy information. Activision Blizzard said that while employees were against the app when the program started in 2014, those who opted in have apparently grown comfortable with it. The company apparently saves $1,200 per employee who uses this program, though how exactly they save money isn't clear. If you ask me, I would never do this for a bunch of gift cards. The latest investor in Overactive Media, the parent company for Splice and Toronto Defiant, is none other than The Weeknd. The Grammy Award-winning R&B singer announced that he was investing in Overactive Media earlier this week. Not only is he throwing money to Splice and the Defiant, he'll serve as the first global ambassador for both teams. Though no details on what The Weeknd will be doing have been revealed, the Defiant said to expect unique joint efforts between the team and the singer throughout the year. Who's going to be the next celebrity to invest in esports? Stay tuned for the next episode of Jumping on the Esports Bandwagon.
Commit Tigre, it's all up to him as he gets it into the corner. Metzedaris was causing some chaos on the shot, but here, now back to Tigre with the play.
On the middle, Classics with another demo. Drippe, did he get the flip reset? Drippe, welcome to North America. Enjoy your stay.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Esports in 30, the show where we take a deep dive into a different esport each day of the week. I'm Brody, and of course, this is Nick on the couch with me, and it's Thursday, and that means it's Rocket League time. For you guys that don't know Nick, he's a producer from the show and a huge-time RL enthusiast. Yeah. Last weekend was wild.
Yeah, it's been a super long off-season without any... One dream hack is not enough to satisfy the Rocket League craving. We need some pure octane boost in the veins.
Inject it into my veins. Well, we're going to do exactly that. We've got a lot of ground to cover in just 30 minutes, so let's jump into it. First up, North America. Here's the highlights.
On the middle, Classics with another demo. Drippe, did he get the flip reset? Drippe, welcome to North America. Enjoy your stay.
Beautiful car control, and he slows down with his boost. He doesn't keep boosting the entire time.
Chicago flopped into the midfield. Jams the field's back. Here comes Rizzo. Puts it on the backboard. Chicago's airborne. Typical's not quite there. And here comes Jams for the last one.
Oh, no!
Foreman should have this. Actually does not make contact. A failure on the trajectory. Now here comes infield pass. It Squish that nose. I think Squishy scored this.
Let's find out.
Shot?
Let's find out.
Yeah, because his nose got on the pass here, which means that Squishy gets bumped into a full shot from Karma. Oh my goodness.
Last chance for Rogue. Off the ceiling, Chronome crossbar down.
Gets second touch on Typical. Sathu into the corner. Chicago up to play it back down to the middle. Here comes Shane out with a shot.
You can do nothing.
G2 play. Something that teams have been doing for seasons, but we've seen it demoed a lot today. Sathu gets through. Is that in? Oh my! What? And he ties the game. Sathu by himself wins the kickoff and wins the challenge.
That one definitely off the kickoff. Jnaps thought he could get there, and boy, was he close.
Just a one-goal game in the final countdown, but Karma getting a pass two. J-Wiz lurking in the midfield.
Oh, that's it, that's it.
To pass across. Nose God puts it in, and with 1 second left, it's a tie game.
And make the defense really think about what he's going to do with the ball is what really gives NRG the scary edge. It's a quick 1-2, left the mirror to memory into the right-hand side.
North America was full of super close games and more than a few RLCS debuts, so why don't we just talk with the new kids on the block. It's our previously promoted rival series teams. I honestly think they showed up with fire.
I think that they played pretty well. I thought, let's start with Splice. Trevor, friend of the show. It was pretty weird seeing him play, on the big stage for the first time, but it was awesome.
He's all grown up.
They took Cloud9 to a really hard fought. The 3-0 does not tell how close the series was.
No, they were all overtimes.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Now, that's not to say that Cloud9 was, they were not at the top of their game by any stretch, I don't think. But the fact that Splyce came out so strong and really pushed Cloud9, I think is really, really positive signs for Splyce so far.
Yeah, the hardest thing is like when you watch, and I told you to go back and watch them again, and you notice this too. But the one thing I'm really loving about Splyce is that they're working really well together. You see a lot of their touches become passes into the center field, with good work against them, and
maybe a bit too much.
Yeah, and their creativity though, it's there, and that's something that's really hard to teach people is creativity. So I'm really excited to see them. The issue is they just straight up miss balls sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of the Cloud9 overtime goal winners, for example, was like defensive misses, or they were looking for that outlet pass and Cloud9 read it because they never cleared. I rewatched the series this morning and they never cleared the ball. They would always look for somebody on the wall to do that outlet pass from kind of the goal mouth up onto the wall and then out into the midfield. And that just bit them sometimes. Like Gimmick was just right there reading that wall, getting right in front of it and putting it into an easy spot for Squishy, like tap in game. I believe it was 2.
Well, that's the thing is like, if you do the same thing, eventually you're going to condition your opponents to read you, understand, okay, they're always putting it here. They're not clearing it hard. Sometimes you need that hard clear. You need to reset. Give away possession.
Eventually you're going to have to make a 1v1 play, and it seemed like maybe Splyce was a bit afraid to take on Cloud9 in a 1v1, seeing they were losing a lot of the challenges. And it bit them in the end, but this 3-0 I think was a good start for them, and they did beat Ghost 3-2, another close series, but they got their first win, and they were popping on Twitter.
Well, I guess we can probably talk about Ghost. Well, I guess Space Station Gaming first, and we'll get into Ghost, because Ghost is having a bit of a problem right now. Space Station Gaming also looked really solid, the previous Bread roster. These guys, I don't know, they came out with intensity too. It almost reminded me of like a baby Barcelona team. And
I mean, I think that Bread/Space Station Gaming did exactly what you need to do coming into the league, and you're facing a hard opponent like G2 for the first time right off the bat, and they went hard, full aggression, full speed, full boost all the way, challenging every single ball in the midfield. There wasn't a ball that they didn't challenge, and sometimes that led them to the 2 wins in the first 2 games, and sometimes it kind of bit them, where when G2 started speeding up and picking that pace as well, and maybe SSG slowed down just a touch, the touches were going the other way for like games 3 and 4 and 5, and it led to that reverse sweep. But I really, really like what SSG did. They put together some really strong games, and just like Splyce, I think you said it, the accuracy maybe was not was the dagger.
I think what they're realizing now is, now that they're in a league with these top dogs that have had all this RLCS experience, they're realizing, okay, we don't have as much time. We're pressured a lot more. The time to take these shots isn't there anymore. You have to make very split decisions. Your shots can't be set up as long. You got to take them quick, and accuracy as a result starts to suffer from that.
I mean, it sucked big time, because we saw in that, I believe it was game 2 overtime, which they did end up winning anyways, but they had like 4 or 5 quality chances to put the game away, and they didn't. And then G2 came the other way, and Chicago actually stopped his own ball from going in the net. I don't know if you if you remember that. He was coming off the ceiling, and he just gets right in front of it. So by all rights, SSG should have lost that game, but they also should have won it, because they should have finished this game like 2 minutes into overtime and not 7 minutes into overtime. So I mean, I think that's a combination of like like I said, you said the touches and the split-second decision-making, but also the experience. You saw the experience difference between G2 and SSG. G2, Rizzo, JNaps, they've been around the block a few times. They can pick up the speed if they need to and match a team like SSG in this situation, and we saw it.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it too much. I just want your 10-second thought on Illusion now with Ghost, now that we've seen them play their 2 games.
Yeah, a lot of people were, during the broadcast, the cast were saying, maybe he's had a history of kind of those trust issues with new teammates or something like that. And I don't think necessarily that was the case here. And in fact, he tweeted, it wasn't a trust issue, it was a miscommunication issue, which I don't know if that's better or worse. But
good.
Ghost has already dug themselves into a big hole. They're playing a couple of really tough opponents next week. Their offense was pretty low this week. I think they had like 6 out of 9 games. They only had one goal or less.
Yeah, they sat back.
Yeah, and I think that Ghost Evolution has potential, But boy, you got to reach that potential really quick in a 5-week season.
It's fine to play defensively as long as you're getting the counterattacks you need, and then you play those aggressive. But if you lose the aggression on even the counterattacks, you're getting nothing. But we also got to talk about right now Rogue EG. Of course, Drippy has been the biggest question mark.
I was super excited to see this guy play.
Yeah. But I don't know if I was super impressed. There were a lot of mistakes still being made rotationally. Well, he had one flip reset. That doesn't fix all of the
one flip reset does not a series make.
Yeah.
This series on rewatch, I was less and less impressed with both teams the more I watched this series, in the sense that like 80% of the goals were like defensive lapses, broken plays, missed coverage, all this sort of stuff. EG really got there in the game 4 and 5 and rightfully won the series, and Drippe got more comfortable as time went on. I think that this EG roster shows the signs of life that you're looking for, whereas on Rogue's side, the offense just completely dried up in that series. 0 goals in games 4 and 5, and against a team that was looking kind of as shaky as EG was, that's not good enough.
So going forward, which one do you think is going to have a better route?
I like EG a little bit better here. I think that the ceiling. I think the ceiling is higher on EG. Kronovi had a couple decent games, but and the former FlyQuest duo, Wonder and AJ, had a couple good synergies. But I just think that the ceiling is much higher on EG.
Let him know in chat if you think he's wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're all going to agree on there. And just quickly, your thoughts on the big three. I mean, like, it seems like that kind of just went the way we expected it. I mean, like NRG, C9, G2, a little bit of a question mark, but for sure, like at the end of the day, those other two teams.
I mean, you and I were talking about this, and the one note I said is that much like our local sports team, which I won't name, but it starts with T and it ends with Toronto Maple Leafs, the top teams need to start on time, right? They like C9, NRG, and G2. They can't let teams that are on paper worse than them, like your Splice and your Ghost and your Space Station Gamings, play you close for the first game and a half, right? It doesn't work like that. And when you go against each other, you need to start on time. That was the one note I had. Otherwise, it was it was
NA as usual.
Exactly.
That's true. All right, that's it for NA. But there's a whole other region to talk about, and thankfully, we've got an awesome guest phoning in from EU to take us through it. While we call him up, why don't you check out these highlights?
They had to keep the pressure on. Ronicky has space to work with, though, and Casio now dumping it into the box. Are you kidding me? He gets a bit of help from the bricks here, but an insane situation to put that defender in.
And just a quick turn from Ronicky. Casio staying on the wall here. How does this...
That's insane. Up to a lot, looking for the pass play, a more understandable situation there, and they drop it back into the box. Can they find the shot? Two players commit. Tigre, it's all up to him as he gets it into the corner. Metzedaris was causing some chaos on the shot, but here, now back to Tigre with the play. A nice fake on Turbo now. Pushing this one back into the corner. He's got two players in front. Bluey will put it high. Can he find the double tap? Almost gets it. Here's the follow-up from Devo to finish it off.
Scrub will get there first. And K-Dot passes right back to him. A center ball to Barry. Barry taking his time, and he blasts it through. Tigre was far post in a spot where a lot could just get to it and squeeze it in. And that's a fancy way to end it. Challenge from Chaussette now. You can see Chaussette and Scrub
just take a little fight in midfield.
Now what some would argue is rule number 1, and now the follow-up Scrub killer.
Back away, Yukio into the corner, very high and coming down in his favor. He gets it off the woodwork again. They cannot get it into the goal.
Yukio under a lot of pressure there, maybe feeling that somebody from Savage was going to be rotating into the net, and he had to make it quick, and they will get punished back the other way.
Opportunities both go away. Cookser setting this one up for himself. Oh, beautiful tap. I didn't think he'd hit it. Rather, having to play some defense, gets that one away just enough to the corner.
And again, some more double commits from Maus, allowing free space for TSM to work with. Pass to Ignite, and they've got everyone beating the net. The lead back to TSM.
Europe is insanely competitive already, and it's just week 1. Now, to give us a bit of an inside perspective, we're lucky enough to have the second handsomest man in RL and manager of Renault Sport Team Vitality's RL squad, Mike Gregan Ellis. What's up, buddy? By the way, he wrote that.
I did.
Thank you very much, Leafex, for being so egotistical and putting yourself at number 1.
Of course.
See, I've worked with Brody long enough that I know what he would say in that situation.
Well, you nailed it there, Nick.
All right, well, why don't we dive into, of course, your team, Vitality. I mean, may as well pick your brains while you're here. Let's just start off with one of the biggest news, of course, is the roster change. K-Dop, coming from Dignitas, dropped in. This man's a multiple-time world champion. I'm just wondering how he's fit into the team, if it's been very easy, or if there's been a bit of a struggle to find his place.
Well, if we're talking gameplay-wise, K-Dop could fit in any team because he's just so good at rotations. He's got incredibly solid mechanics. He doesn't try and do anything too fancy. And so you can kind of form a team around K-Dop, and he can find his space within any team. So that side of it's great, but from the actual org side, it's been brilliant because he's French. We're a massive French organization. His stream numbers have gone up. His following's gone up. He's just had a great time working with a French team because when you contact your social media guy or whatever, it's great to be able to just talk in your own language. So for him, it's helped him relax and made him feel a lot at home, which has been the best side of it, I think.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. A player I've been really interested in his story is Scrubkilla, actually.
Who hasn't really? Right?
Yeah, he had a lot of eyes on him during the first season, and now that this is his second season in the RLCS, I wanted to see what you think his growth has been in terms of those intangibles like communication and teamwork from last season to now.
So he's still young. There's a lot to work on, and I think he knows that. And I think he's very much got his eyes set on when he's full-time, he's going to work really hard. Because right now he's at school still. And in fact, last week he had his last day of school, and he's now going through the exam period where he's got full days off, except for when he gets exams in a few weeks' time. And when that's all finished, we're going to work really closely with him to try and make him the best player possible. Because I think working in a league where pretty much everyone is full-time, when you're part-time at school, is incredibly difficult to push your limits. And so at the moment, we're relying on his raw talent and ability to step up in those pressure moments. You wait until the end of this year, he's going to be incredible.
Speaking of raw talent, there's a third guy on the team, as is his threes, Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak was a bit of a question mark, I know, for a lot of fans last season, you know, sometimes taking things into his own hands, which is a bit of an issue because we know he can, because he's an insane player. You know, I saw a couple during last week where he's like, it looks like he wants to get back up there. Has there been a system implemented to make sure that, you know, he's always watching out for his teammates, trusting his teammates, and making sure that they can work as a team dynamic?
Well, I think being with K-Dop on the team and that synergy they've had in the past is a huge step for him because it allows him to trust his teammates a lot. With Pashi, it was starting to get to that stage where he didn't quite trust the ability Pashi had. Just because it varied so much and he had such a lull in the off season, it's very hard to build up that trust throughout the season.
That's true.
And then with Scrubkilla coming in, Scrub was quite an erratic player at the start, and we've kind of had to find out where his position is within the team. And I think that's actually meant Fairy Peak has taken more of a step back and been more of a rotational player, where before he was a very chasey player. So it's very much changed the way he plays, and he's very willing to open up his mind and go, I'll play whatever I need to play for the team as long as I can put the faith in my teammates to do so. So it's definitely helped him become a more solid player and a more respectable threes player, where obviously in the past he's been very much the carry of the team.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, and so far that mentality's paid off. You guys got your first win over PSG this past week, but it doesn't get any easier. Next week, you're facing Dignitas and FC Barcelona, two incredibly tough opponents on paper. Can you walk us through sort of the preparation that you're seeing in mind to get the team ready for these two squads?
Well, for us, PSG was the big scary fixture because we obviously cursed ourselves a bit in the past by saying we didn't want to lose to them. But now we've got that out of the way. That was, in our mind, the toughest fixture because we feel like we can beat any team as long as we play our best. And I think playing your best is the biggest challenge within competitive Rocket League because all of these teams in the RLCS have the ability to beat each other on their highs, and the consistency in performing at the top is the challenge. So this week, Barcelona and Dignitas, two teams that can perform at those really high highs very frequently. That's why they're scary. But I think if we can get our results in our favor this week, then that'll put us in an incredible spot in the standings. Because let's be honest, every week is so important in RLCS, with it only being 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So these two fixtures, they're our big ones. Once we got those out the way, we'll see. I mean, we've got TSM and the Bricks the week after. It doesn't get any easier. That's just Europe for you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe it'll be easy next week. No, it's still just as hard.
Every week is a gauntlet.
Yeah, it's brutal. Well, that transitions us nicely to talk about PSG. You know, PSG's had a bit of, I guess, a struggle breaking out of that middle pack. You know, they've always kind of been that gatekeepers, like, you're not getting the top unless you go through us. Is there a change that's maybe needed for PSG? Like, are you seeing maybe like a roster switch, or is it? Do you think they can do it with the roster they have?
I mean, Fruity and Chazette are incredibly mechanical. Farah is incredibly smart. He's got loads of ideas that a lot of Rocket League players haven't even thought about, which makes him a solid 3v3 player and the great captain that he is. I think PSG have the ability, like I said, to beat any team. I think any team in RLCS, maybe Triple Trouble and Mouse have to prove that a little bit this season, but I think any of the top 6 can beat anyone. And PSG have struggled to consistently do that. And I think a lot of that comes down to their mindset in game, because you've seen it so many times with them. They get 2 games up against, like, Dignitas. They can get 2 games up against Dignitas and then throw it completely away. And that is the struggle that the players have in their mindset. And I think perhaps a little bit of support from PSG as the org could help them take that next step, a little bit of psychological side, which is starting to happen now more in Rocket League as we're getting bigger and bigger development in the orgs and the players.
Now, you mentioned them, and I did want to touch on Triple Trouble and Mouse. Triple Trouble got their first win against the Bricks. Mouse got their first win against Triple Trouble. Starting with Mouse, do you think that a lot being added to the squad is enough to keep them out of that kind of bottom 2 relegation territory? Was this the move that was needed?
Well, to credit Mouse, they work incredibly hard. And I've always been a big believer that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's the kind of mantra we're going by at the moment, because you have to work hard now. You have to put in the hours. You have to do the research. You're seeing coaches now come in. That's part of it. It's making it easier for these teams to work hard. I think Mouse are trying to do that, but I don't think they've got that experience yet as a team of 3. And I don't think they've got that consistency to be able to take down a lot of the RLCS, which is why a lot of people thought they were going to be finding themselves at the bottom. But they did show up against Triple Trouble, so perhaps they are a team that performs under pressure, and we'll see that, because it's a completely different environment playing in the RLCS compared to playing in scrims, compared to playing in ranked. And so I think a lot definitely brings that boost, because he has had that clutch factor in the past.
What do you mean? If I'm a grand champ in ranked, I can't be a pro? That doesn't translate? What are you talking about?
Unfortunately not. It's, do you know, it's crazy. I've always been out of the comms when the team's playing, but after last season, we kind of said, I'm going to be in there to help communicate with them, help them relax, or help give them a fourth voice if they're struggling for ideas. And for the most part, I don't really do much. I'm just there listening, and the difference in comms between scrims and in RLCS, just for example, you hear hyperventilation. It obviously is making their heart rate go up. Yeah. It's obviously making them communicate more. They sound more chaotic. When goals go in, they get so much more hype over it. When goals go in against us, we get so much more frustrated. It means that bit more. And if you're not able to control that emotional side of it, then it's a completely different style of play, because it can affect you completely differently.
That's a really cool insight into that. Yeah, just how it can change from scrims.
When it's game time, you get that, you know, your adrenaline is pumping. It's hard to keep that under control.
That's true. Now, a team we have to, of course, talk about, the previous Savage roster, now FC Barcelona. These guys are coming in with ferocity, like just absolute straight aggression. And I'm just wondering if you think that, you know, if they've hit their ceiling. They took down Dignitas, one of the hardest teams. Well, I guess they're all hard now, but, you know, that was the team to take down, and FC Barcelona did it pretty convincingly. Have they hit their ceiling, or do they have a long way to go?
Well, they obviously were trying to mimic that Cloud9 style in the past, but I think they've actually started transitioning towards a more European style of strong rotations, hitting the ball hard at each other. After watching the game against Dignitas, they're taking a lot less risks with the flare plays, but when they do have that space, they have the ability to do things like flip resets, to do crazy things. I was watching the replays, and Bluey did a helicopter musty flick at one point. Now, obviously that didn't work at the time, because if it did, we'd all be seeing it on clips everywhere. But it's the fact that they can threaten with those options that makes them dangerous. So with the combination of that and the rotation, I think they're going to be incredibly scary, because Alpha has just stepped up his quality of equipment that he uses at home. He was using a laptop on 60 hertz before. Now he's got, I don't know how many frames, too many frames. So he's never going to see a stutter in his life. And that's scary that he's stepped up even higher than what he was before. And now they're living together, Bluey Devo with their sub by Matios and Roken. They're all living together, so that kind of team synergy is going to boost. There's so many reasons why they can go higher and higher from where they are now, and I think they're definitely going to be one to look out for this season.
I'm stoked.
It's super competitive, and we did mention that FC Barcelona beat Dignitas, who are the top of the league right now on paper.
On paper.
But we have seen that, you know, they brought in Yukio during the offseason. They won DreamHack with Yukio. But from your perspective, was Yukio the right choice for this team in terms of long term, like looking ahead to, you know, this season's finals and maybe in the next season as well?
It's hard to say, because it's hard to fill K-Dot's shoes in any team. And it's also a very different role. I think Yukio is a very much a flair player when we describe what we're saying with Barcelona. He's got the ability to do crazy plays. He's incredibly quick in the air, and he takes a lot more risks than K-Dot did. So that means the whole team has to shift their play style around him. They obviously are incredibly good on paper, like you said, because they won DreamHack. They've got the raw talent to do it. But as teams start to get more set and start to get used to each other, I think they're still going to have to shift their roles a bit, because they're not going to be able to do the old style of Turbo causing chaos, Violent Panda setting up goals, and K-Dot booming them in. It's just not going to work that way because Yukio plays such a different style.
Now, of course, I wanted to talk about the bricks, but I feel like a lot of it just came down to, speed, having, playing from North America.
Because slightly high ping.
A little bit of a high ping. So what I want to do is move on now to the fan questions, because we actually had a lot. We reached out to Twitter and Reddit, and they had some really good questions. We have a bunch here. We unfortunately won't be able to get to all of them, but I'm going to start off with John, a.k.a. Always. He was on Reddit, and he asked, who's the one team you, Vitality, have yet to play since you came on board that you really want to compete against?
I mean, we've got Barcelona this weekend, so it's definitely them. They're a team that are just going to get better and better, and we've always struggled against them when we've scrimmed against them. So I think to challenge ourselves, that will be a good one. But in terms of for the fun of it, I definitely think more North American teams, because we've not had an opportunity to play many intercontinental matches. I mean, the last time we did would have been Landon, and then DreamHack we got the chance to play NRG, and it was so much fun to play against players we hadn't had the chance to compete against.
I mean, it's not,
those lands are great for that.
Yeah, and he's not like he's picking, you're not picking easy teams. You guys want to go against the best. RFSC Barcelona, NRG, some tough competition.
That's how you get good.
We've got another question off Reddit for you from Kozelico. And they ask, should Psyonix promote more manager/coach interactions at LANs? And is there any benefit to that? And how much and when do the teams interact with coaches currently?
Good question.
It's a very good question. It's a hard one to answer because every team is very different in how the manager or coach role is put upon the team. So in my case, I'm very much take all the stress of organization away from my team. In other teams, the individuals organize themselves, but they have a coach who helps analyze their game. And in some teams, they have both. And I think to be able to normalize that across the board is very tricky. But what you can do is you can make it look more professional by involving the organizations, the managers, the coaches in the way you present the team. So last RLCS Worlds, we had interviews with, I think, Mike Prindeville from Dignitas. That shows that he's behind the team. I think Fireworks got an interview. He's an incredible coach. He represents the Evil Geniuses really well. So those kind of situations, I think, are great because it shows that these players aren't just three players who've turned up from ranked and are amazing. They've got a whole team supporting them behind them. And I think that's just going to get more and more as more teams have those options in the future.
Now, this next question actually kind of rolls in with how you're talking about, comms can change and, frustrating moments can be more frustrating. Ninja Taco from Reddit says, how do you deal with tilting, the players getting tilted and frustrated during tournaments?
Yeah, every player is different, and I think as time goes on, you start to learn how your teammates react. And one thing I learned from DreamHack is that Scrub reacts very positively to, come on, let's win this kind of attitude, where Fairy Peak and K-Dot react very well to, you've done really well so far, let's just have some fun. And like everyone's way of relaxing is different. And obviously Fairy Peak and K-Dot being able to relax each other because they're so close, they can speak French to each other, that's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get tilted, there's very much, you got to find ways to reset. For me, I reset by drinking water. I feel like the process of drinking water kind of, I like to think of it as cleansing me, and that's the restart. Yeah. And it's just about trying those different things, and that's what we're doing this year. Is we're trying to create habits, healthy habits that make the players consistent. How they drink throughout a tournament, how they eat throughout a tournament, what they do in the mornings, trying to make them aware of their own habits.
Hey, but also huge advice to everybody out there. Anytime you're in between a match, go get a glass of water. It helps a lot.
And I mean, as you said, the physical health of the player counts so much, and I think that's becoming more and more. And if you're tilting your rank games, maybe you didn't get enough sleep last night. That's a big thing, too. So we're going to close with one last fan question, and it's a fun one. It's from Stumpy Goblin on Twitter.
Of course it is.
He asked, how did you get your face so malleable?
Stumpy, what?
There's a kind of joke within the UK guys that we're quite close and we joke about each other. Like I joke about Stumpy's eye because he's got a wonky eye, and they like the fact that I've got very stretchy skin. I don't know why, and I can like move my face in weird ways that they find quite funny.
I'm glad you're explaining it to us, because when I saw this one on Twitter, I had absolutely no idea what this question was about. I had to put it in. I didn't know what it meant, though.
Yeah, you needed to find out. You need to find out. Everyone's got their own little talent. Mine is I've got a stretchy face, and they find it hilarious whenever I stretch it, so I do it. And it's a terrible habit to get into, to make people laugh by putting your face in weird ways. But it works.
Brilliant. I'm glad that we got to the bottom of that one. Some serious progress made today.
We can add that to your trivia page.
That's brilliant. Anyways, Gregan, we are unfortunately out of time. It's been amazing to have you on the show. Best of luck to you and the boys in the coming weeks of RLCS. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much. It's been a joy talking to you guys, and good luck with your hosting, Leaf. It's been great so far.
Thank you. That was some really good insight. Now I want to get your thoughts on something real quick. Of course, the esports shop has been a huge talk for fans around everywhere, and now we actually have some more details about what's going on there. 30% of the everything bought is going to be going to the teams. We saw we're going to get wheels and decals and stuff. So I'm pretty friggin' stoked, but I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy to see that it was going to be wheels and decals and all the whole shebang, because if it had been just banners, I don't think that would have been enough. The one thing that I was a little bit interested to see is that they said on the website it was going to be 30%, as you mentioned, but they didn't be clear if it was like a collective revenue where it's like, this total 30% of all sales is distributed evenly among the teams, or if it's 30% of the items relating to your team, right? So the model is different depending on which team you are. Like if you're a smaller team like an SSG, you probably like the former. Whereas if you're like a popular team like an NRG or C9, you like the latter. And I think it's a great thing to have. I just think a little bit of clarity for the fans and for other orgs as well, who are potentially interested in getting to this game. Because if you're a new org, you much prefer having a collective.
Regardless, I'm going to be buying every single item.
Oh, don't.
You're like, yeah, me too.
I feel bad for kind of the players though who haven't had their items. Like, you're gonna be Bluey and you'll be looking over at like all the other cool skins, and you're gonna look at your playing card and you'll be like, soon.
All right, perfect. That's it for us though. I just want to say thank you to Gregan, and thanks to you guys at home for watching. Tomorrow right here we've got Zurich and Marissa talking CSGO Star Series Season 7, and that's gonna be sick. Follow us on all the socials at Squad State for more. Peace.
Listen, I'm all about shopping, but I wouldn't suggest you spend your entire paycheck in the esports store, all right, guys? So shop carefully. All right, that's it from us tonight. So shout outs to Red Bull for fueling us in the green room. Remember, we're back every day in the green room, 1 p.m. Eastern time, playing some fun games. We're also back tomorrow with another Unmuted, and your girl right here is stepping in the ring, going against Marissa, so you don't want to miss that one. And then it's also FPS Day in Esports in 30, so we're talking CSGO with our boy, Evan Petrell. All right, remember, you can always hit us up on our socials at Squad State. So until then, we'll see you tomorrow.